The silent room, the space station, was large, floating like a quiet city between stars. Thousands of rooms filled the station, some busy, some forgotten. Far away from the bright lights and busy halls, there was a dark wing no one visited anymore. The lights there blinked weakly. The air was cold and still. In one of those empty rooms, a girl lay silently. She was not human. Her skin was pale blue, her eyes slightly larger than humans. She belonged to a proud alien race once known for its strength and pride, but now, her body did not move. Her people had brought her to the station months ago after a failed mission. She was badly injured. The doctors said she would never wake up again. Her people quietly left her there forgotten. Machines beeped softly around her, showing her heart still beat, but she could not talk, she could not move. Everyone believed she was just a body, without a mind, but deep inside, she was awake. She could hear, she could feel. She just couldn't scream. Days passed, then weeks. No one came, until one day, a human stepped into the hallway. His name was Ryan. He was a young soldier, part of Earth's visiting team. Ryan was always curious, always exploring. That day, he took a wrong turn and walked into the quiet, cold wing of the station. He stopped in front of the only room with lights on. The door was half open. He peeked in. There she was, lying still on the bed, surrounded by machines. Her face was calm but lifeless. Ryan thought she was dead at first, but then he noticed something. Her chest rose slowly. She was breathing. He stepped inside. The room felt heavy, lonely. It smelled like dust and old air. There were no flowers, no signs of family, just her. And silence. He whispered, "Hello." No answer. He walked closer to the bed. Her eyes were open. They didn't move, they just stared forward, empty, but something about them made Ryan stop. He had seen injured soldiers before, but this felt different. This felt wrong. He pulled a chair and sat beside her. "I'm Ryan," he said softly. "I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm here." He didn't know why he stayed. Maybe it was guilt, maybe it was kindness. Maybe it was the way her fingers were curled like they once reached for something. He came back the next day. And the day after that. He brought small stories from Earth. He talked about how Earth's sun looked when it set, about rain, about dogs, about music. He didn't expect anything back, but talking felt right. Then it happened. He was telling a funny story when he saw her eyelid move, just a little, just once. He stopped talking. "Was that, did you blink?" He leaned in closer. "Can you hear me?" Her eyes stayed still. Ryan waited. 10 seconds, nothing. 15 seconds. Blink. His heart jumped. He stood up. "You're in there." He rushed out of the room, found a nurse, told her everything. She gave him a tired look. "Sometimes the body moves by reflex. It doesn't mean she's awake." "No," Ryan said. "She blinked twice." The nurse sighed. "I'm sorry, her case is closed. There's no brain activity, just base functions. Her species chose not to continue care." Ryan didn't accept it. He went back the next day, sat beside her again. "I know you're still there," he whispered. "Don't worry, I'll keep coming." He reached out and gently held her hand. It was cold, soft, fragile. Then he felt it, a light squeeze. It was weak, barely there, but real. He looked at her face. No change, no sign of pain or fear, just her soft, quiet eyes. "I felt that," he whispered. "You're still fighting, aren't you?" He stayed for hours that day. The station around them stayed busy. No one cared about the silent room in the dark wing, but Ryan cared. He came back again the next day. He told her more stories. He even played a soft music file through his datapad, something calm, something warm. And every time he held her hand, he felt that tiny squeeze again. To the galaxy. She was gone. To Ryan. She had just returned. She blinked again. Ryan didn't sleep much that night. He kept thinking about her, the girl in the silent room, her eyes, that faint blink, the soft squeeze of her hand. It wasn't a dream, it wasn't his imagination. She was alive, she was aware. And no one believed him. The next morning, he skipped the official meetings. Instead, he went straight to the old hallway, back to the same room. The lights flickered as always. The door still stood half open. She was there, unchanged, still, silent, watching. Ryan sat beside her. "I told them," he said. "The nurse, the doctor, even the ambassador, they all said I was wrong." He paused, then added, "But I'm not wrong, am I?" He waited, staring at her face. No movement, no change. He reached out and gently took her hand again. "If you're awake inside, if you can hear me, blink again, just once." Nothing. 10 seconds. Nothing. Then blink. A single, soft blink. Ryan felt a chill run through his body. Not fear, something deeper, hope. He leaned closer. "Can you blink twice?" He waited. One blink. Two blinks. Clear, calm, controlled. He sat back slowly. "Okay," he whispered. "That's real. You're in there." He wanted to shout, to call someone, but he stopped himself. What if they still didn't believe him? What if they shut her down for good? Ryan had to be smart now. He opened his datapad and turned on the camera. Gently, he placed it on the table near her bed, angled at her face. Let's show them, he said. 1 blink for yes, 2 for no. He smiled gently. Are you from this station? 2 blinks. Were you abandoned here by your people? 1 blink. Do you know why they left? Long pause. 1 blink. Ryan's face turned serious. Do you want me to help you? 1 blink. He nodded slowly. Okay, I'll help you, but we need more. I'll find someone who listens, someone who believes. He saved the video, encrypted it, and hid it in a backup folder. He didn't know who to trust. Not yet. Later that night, he returned to his quarters. His team leader, Commander Hale, was waiting outside his room. You've been skipping mission duties, Hale said firmly. I found something important, Ryan replied. Hale crossed his arms. Let me guess, the girl in the coma. She's not in a coma, Ryan said. She's awake. I have proof. You're not a doctor. I don't need to be. I saw her blink. She squeezed my hand. I recorded it. Hale sighed. Ryan, that case is closed. That girl's own people signed her off. She's a diplomatic dead zone. We can't interfere without starting something bigger. Ryan's jaw tightened. So we let her rot in a silent room? Just because it's political? You're here to protect Earth's image, not play hero. I'm not playing, Ryan said. She's alive, and she needs help. Hale said nothing for a moment. Then he turned and walked away. Be careful, soldier. 1 mistake, and they'll use her as an excuse to cut us out. Back in the room, the girl blinked slowly. She didn't know what the human had said after leaving, but she remembered his voice, kind, calm, strong. Something her own people never showed after her injury. Her body felt like stone, but her mind was sharp. She had been screaming inside for weeks. Now, for the first time, someone had finally heard her. The next day, Ryan returned again. He smiled and placed a warm cloth over her hand, still hanging in there. He asked. 1 blink. He laughed softly. Good, because we have work to do. She blinked again. Ryan didn't sleep much that night. He kept thinking about her, the girl in the silent room. Her eyes, that faint blink, the soft squeeze of her hand. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't his imagination. She was alive. She was aware. And no one believed him. The next morning, he skipped the official meetings. Instead, he went straight to the old hallway, back to the same room. The lights flickered as always. The door still stood half open. She was there, unchanged, still, silent, watching. Ryan sat beside her. I told them, he said. The nurse, the doctor, even the ambassador, they all said I was wrong. He paused, then added, but I'm not wrong, am I? He waited, staring at her face. No movement, no change. He reached out and gently took her hand again. If you're awake inside, if you can hear me, blink again, just once. Nothing. 10 seconds. Nothing. Then blink. A single, soft blink. Ryan felt a chill run through his body. Not fear, something deeper, hope. He leaned closer. Can you blink twice? He waited. 1 blink. 2 blinks. Clear, calm, controlled. He sat back slowly. Okay, he whispered. That's real. You're in there. He wanted to shout, to call someone. But he stopped himself. What if they still didn't believe him? What if they shut her down for good? Ryan had to be smart now. He opened his datapad and turned on the camera. Gently, he placed it on the table near her bed, angled at her face. Let's show them, he said. 1 blink for yes, 2 for no. He smiled gently. Are you from this station? 2 blinks. Were you abandoned here by your people? 1 blink. Do you know why they left? Long pause. 1 blink. Ryan's face turned serious. Do you want me to help you? 1 blink. He nodded slowly. Okay, I'll help you, but we need more. I'll find someone who listens, someone who believes. He saved the video, encrypted it, and hid it in a backup folder. He didn't know who to trust. Not yet. Later that night, he returned to his quarters. His team leader, Commander Hale, was waiting outside his room. You've been skipping mission duties, Hale said firmly. I found something important, Ryan replied. Hale crossed his arms. Let me guess, the girl in the coma. She's not in a coma, Ryan said. She's awake. I have proof. You're not a doctor. I don't need to be. I saw her blink. She squeezed my hand. I recorded it. Hale sighed. Ryan, that case is closed. That girl's own people signed her off. She's a diplomatic dead zone. We can't interfere without starting something bigger. Ryan's jaw tightened. So we let her rot in a silent room just because it's political? You're here to protect Earth's image, not play hero. I'm not playing, Ryan said. She's alive, and she needs help. Hale said nothing for a moment. Then he turned and walked away. Be careful, soldier. 1 mistake, and they'll use her as an excuse to cut us out. Back in the room, the girl blinked slowly. She didn't know what the human had said after leaving, but she remembered his voice, kind, calm, strong, something her own people never showed after her injury. Her body felt like stone, but her mind was sharp. She had been screaming inside for weeks. Now, for the first time, someone had finally heard her. The next day, Ryan returned again. He smiled and placed a warm cloth over her hand, still hanging in there. He asked. 1 blink. He laughed softly. Good, because we have work to do. Asterisk orders to leave the lights in the hallway felt dimmer that morning. Ryan walked fast through the cold corridor, carrying a small bag in one hand and determination in the other. His heart beat faster than usual. He had stayed up most of the night editing the video, cutting out every clear blink, every squeeze. Every moment her eyes followed his voice. He had proof now. He stepped into the silent room, smiled at her, and said, I'm going to show this to someone who matters, someone who can help us. One blink. He gave her hand a gentle squeeze and left. In the command lounge, Earth's ambassador sat quietly with 2 alien officers and a human security chief. Ryan waited outside for 10 minutes, then was called in. Ambassador Rillen looked tired. Ryan, you've been skipping duties, you've broken protocol. And now you've sent us an urgent request to speak. What is this about? Ryan placed the small device on the table. Just watch, he said. The screen lit up. For a few moments, no one spoke. The room was quiet. Then on the screen the girl blinked, once, then twice, then followed Ryan's instructions with silent, perfect timing. When it ended, Ryan looked up. The alien officer leaned back and frowned. That's impossible. She has no brain activity. She's responding, Ryan said. You saw it. She's aware. Ambassador Rillen didn't look pleased. Ryan, do you realize what you've just done? Ryan blinked. Saved a life. You interfered with a politically closed medical case. Her species marked her honor silent. That means they declared her mind lost. Speaking against that is insulting to their leadership. Ryan stood firm. I don't care about politics. She's alive. The alien officer's voice turned cold, and now Earth may have violated protocol. This could lead to punishment or removal from this station. Ryan stepped back. So that's it? We just walk away and let her rot? Rillen's voice dropped. You are hereby ordered to return to Earth's transport ship. You are no longer allowed to visit Medical Wing 7B. Ryan stared at them in disbelief. You're serious? This is over, soldier, Rillen said. Forget her. He didn't. That night, Ryan returned to the silent room one last time. His uniform was gone. He wore dark clothes and carried only a small light. The room was darker than usual. She lay still, but her eyes opened slowly when he walked in. I'm sorry, he whispered, sitting beside her. They're sending me home, to Blinks. I won't be allowed to come back, not for a long time. He held her hand. It felt even colder now. He reached into his bag and pulled out a small recording chip. This is for you. I know you can't move much yet, but when someone does help you, when you recover, show them this. Show them everything. He placed the chip under her blanket, just beside her leg. I don't know if you'll remember me, he said softly, but I'll remember you. He paused, then added, you're stronger than they think. He stood slowly, trying to stop the shaking in his hands. At the door, he looked back one last time. She was watching him. He smiled gently and whispered, goodbye. He turned and then he froze. A single tear slid down her cheek. His heart clenched. He stepped back to the bed, knelt beside her, and whispered, you're not alone anymore, I promise. Later that night, a nurse passed by Wing 7B. She paused near the room. She thought she saw something strange, one of the monitors blinking faster. She walked in slowly. The girl's eyes were open, and there was a message written in fog on the window, 3 letters. Shaky and slow, HUM. The nurse frowned. What does that mean? The girl's eyes blinked once. Then again. The nurse backed up slowly. She rushed out of the room. She didn't know who him was, but now someone else knew the girl was alive. Asterisk the hidden truth. Ryan sat quietly on the transport ship, staring out the window as the stars passed by. His hands were clenched, jaw tight. His body had left the station, but his mind was still in that silent room. He kept thinking of her eyes, that tear. And the message, HUM. She was trying to say human. She remembered him. She wanted him back, but the station had made it clear she was to remain silent. Her kind wanted her forgotten. Why? Ryan couldn't let it go. He had saved the recording. Every blink, every moment, he watched it over and over. Something didn't feel right. So he dug deeper. Once Earth's ship reached orbit, Ryan hacked into the old diplomatic archives. He knew it was risky, but he had to understand what happened to her. She wasn't just a random girl in a hospital bed. She was someone important, and someone powerful wanted her gone. He found her name in a buried file, Unit 47X Liaison, Vela. And beside it, classified incident report. He opened it. 2 years Agavella had been a junior diplomat, trained to serve her species in peace talks with humans. She was known for her intelligence, her ability to understand multiple languages including Earth Standard. But something happened during a private mission on a neutral moon. Something dangerous. The file spoke of a leak, a secret from her people. Something she discovered, a biological experiment, hidden from the Galactic Council. She had tried to report it, but before she could send the full message, her shuttle crashed. She survived but was left paralyzed. Her own people picked her up from the wreck, and instead of treating her, they silenced her. They marked her as honor silent, a phrase used when someone is declared spiritually dead. Even if alive, it was their way to cover the truth. They put her on that station, away from the public, with fake reports. The council believed she was brain dead, and no one asked questions. Until Ryan. He leaned back in shock. They left her like that, on purpose. The truth was bigger than he thought. Vela hadn't just been forgotten, she had been betrayed. Ryan saved everything he found and encrypted the files, but he knew now he couldn't fix this alone. He needed someone high enough to expose this, someone who still believed in justice. He contacted an old friend, Dr. Lena Moore, a human doctor working in galactic affairs. She was one of Earth's top voices in alien medical research. When she saw the video, she stared in silence, then whispered, "She's using iris-response communication. This is real." Ryan nodded, "And I found the report. Her condition was faked. They shut her up to hide what she knew." Lena's eyes darkened. "We can't let this stay buried." She made a call that same night. Meanwhile, back on the station, Vela's nurse Nira stood at the room's window, staring at the fogged message still fading from the glass. HUM. The girl hadn't moved again since, but her eyes watched. They followed Nira now, silently. Nira sat down beside her, heart racing. "You knew him, didn't you? The human." One blink. "Why did your people abandon you?" One blink. "Do you want me to help?" One blink. Nira swallowed hard. She had worked here for 10 years. Followed every rule, but now she couldn't. Something in those eyes begged for more. So she opened the blanket and found the chip. She loaded the video. She cried. 3 days later, Earth's embassy filed an emergency motion to reopen Vela's case. The Galactic Council sent investigators. And on the cold station, a message came in, a short one. Encrypted. From Ryan. It said, "Hold on, I'm coming back." Vela blinked once. Then again. Asterisk. Her recovery begins. The room was still cold. The lights still flickered, but something had changed. For the first time in months, someone stayed longer than a few minutes. Nurse Nira sat beside Vela every evening now. She didn't talk much at first. She didn't know how, but slowly, the silence between them began to soften. Every day, Nira brought small things. Warm cloths, gentle music, a datapad with stories. And every day, Vela answered with blinks. One blink for yes, two blinks for no. It wasn't much, but it was everything. One evening, Nira brought in a small hollow slate and placed it beside the bed. "I'm going to teach you letters," she whispered. "Blink once when I land on the right one." The screen began scrolling slowly. A beat C. When it reached H, Vela blinked. Then U. Then M. Nira covered her mouth. Human. Vela blinked once. Tears filled Nira's eyes. "He saved you, didn't he?" One blink. Nira squeezed her hand gently. "Then I'll help you finish what he started." Each day, Vela learned more. She blinked through the alphabet. She spelled names, places, codes. And finally, I was silenced. I knew too much. Nira's hands trembled as she copied the words. "What did you know?" Vela's eyes moved slowly to the side, where the machine still blinked with her vital signs. Nira understood. She pulled out the chip Ryan had left and copied the message, adding the new letters Vela spelled. Then she did something dangerous. She sent it through a private medical channel, straight to Earth. Meanwhile, Ryan was preparing to return, thanks to Dr. Lena's contacts. The council had been forced to reopen the case. Earth now had legal grounds to investigate Vela's condition. A new medical team was forming, one that would return to the station with full access. Ryan insisted on joining. "She trusted me," he said. She reached for my hand. "I'm not letting go now." Lena nodded. "Then you'd better be ready. They'll be watching every step." Back on the station, Vela's fingers moved for the first time. It was small, just the tip of her right index finger twitching against the blanket. But Nira saw it. She gasped, knelt beside the bed, and whispered, "You're coming back." Vela blinked once. Nira reached under the blanket and gently placed a small metal tool in Vela's palm. "Hold this. Try, just hold it." Vela focused. Her hand didn't move. Minutes passed. Then the tool shifted slightly in her palm. The next day, two alien officials arrived in her room. They wore dark robes with gold bands across their shoulders. Nira stood up quickly. "She's recovering." One of them narrowed his eyes. "She was not meant to. She is alive. She's aware. You can't stop this anymore." The taller official walked toward the bed. "Your duty is to care for her body, not her voice." "She has a voice now," Nira replied, "and Earth is listening." The official turned and left without another word. But Vela blinked twice. She knew what that meant. Danger was coming. That night, Nira sat quietly beside her. "They're afraid," she whispered. "They know the truth is rising." Vela blinked once. Then she spelled, "Ryan coming?" Nira smiled. "Yes, soon." Then Vela added, "I will stand." Nira stared, stunned. "Can you really?" One blink, she wasn't just recovering, she was preparing, 2 floors above. In the station's observation bay, an alien officer looked down at a new message flashing across his screen. Terran medical ship HFY arriving in 72 hours. He narrowed his eyes and pressed a silent alarm beneath his desk. Asterisk the human returns. The Terran ship HFY arrived in orbit 2 days later. It was quiet, sleek, and carried only a few crew, but each one was handpicked: doctors, engineers, security officers, and Ryan. He stood at the docking ramp in full uniform, but his eyes were fixed on the station's airlock ahead. His fingers twitched with nervous energy. She's still there, he whispered to himself. She has to be. The door hissed open. Ryan stepped inside. On the station, the atmosphere felt colder than before. The once busy halls were now tense and quiet. Alien staff gave short answers, avoided eye contact. Security checkpoints had doubled. Still, Ryan didn't stop. He moved through the corridors quickly. Past medwings, past labs, past faces that remembered him but dared not speak. Finally, he reached Medical Wing 7B and stopped. The door to her room was closed and sealed. He stepped forward, scanned his access card. Access denied. He frowned and knocked. No answer. He knocked again, harder. Finally, Nurse Nira opened the door slightly, her face pale and eyes wide. Ryan, she whispered. You shouldn't be here yet. Where is she? Nira looked around, then stepped aside. The room was empty. The bed was made, machines unplugged, no sign of Vela. Ryan's heart dropped. No, she's not dead, Nira said quickly. But she's gone. Gone where? They moved her last night. Claimed it was a transfer for safety reasons. No logs, no details. Ryan clenched his fists. They knew I was coming. They're hiding her again, Nira said, but she left something behind. She handed him a folded cloth. Inside was a small metal tool one Vela had practiced holding, and a note, written slowly, letter by letter. You kept your promise, now I'll keep mine. Ryan swallowed hard. She knows I'm here. She's stronger now, Nira said. She was moving her hand, holding things, spelling whole sentences. She remembers everything. Ryan looked at the note again, then back at the bed. We're not leaving without her. Meanwhile, deep in the lower levels of the station, Vela sat in a sealed medical chamber. Her arms were bound lightly, not tight, just enough to prevent movement during transfer. One guard stood by the door, silent. A second officer entered the room. He looked at her, then said coldly, you should have stayed quiet. We would have given you peace. Vela didn't blink. She simply stared. The officer leaned closer. That human thinks he's a hero, but even heroes get lost in paperwork. Still no blink, but her fingers twitched under the blanket. The officer didn't notice. Back on the upper level, Ryan met with Earth's medical team. We need to escalate this, he said. They're moving her without records. That violates council law. Dr. Lena agreed. Then we file a challenge under new protocol. We can demand access to any patient with confirmed mental activity, but it will take time, Ryan said, and time is what they're trying to run out. Nira stepped forward. Then we act faster. She handed Ryan a small drive. This is everything she told me, the secrets, the cover-up. It's her voice blinking letter by letter. Ryan nodded. We'll take this to the council. That night, Ryan stood by the window near the docking bay, staring at the stars. He held Vela's note in his hand. I'm here, he whispered, just like I said. Then he turned and walked away toward the council chamber. He wasn't just a soldier anymore. He was now her voice, and tomorrow the galaxy would hear it. Asterisk she speaks for the forgotten. The grand hall of the Galactic Council was quiet. Rows of delegates from hundreds of worlds sat behind glowing platforms, their eyes fixed on the central floor. They had gathered to hear a case one Earth had pushed forward with urgency. A case about a girl no one wanted to talk about, a girl who wasn't supposed to survive. Ryan stood at the edge of the floor, holding the datapad close to his chest. Behind him, Dr. Lena and Nurse Nira sat, silent and tense. Every screen showed the same words: emergency petition for patient release, subject Vela. An elder alien in gold robes tapped his staff. Earth representative, present your claim. Ryan stepped forward, voice steady. She was silenced. Her people declared her lost, but she was not. She fought to be seen, to be heard. We have the proof. He activated the hologram. Blink by blink, word by word. The council watched as Vela spelled out her thoughts, her pain, her memories. The truth she uncovered. The secret biological weapon her people tried to hide. Gasps filled the chamber. Some delegates covered their mouths, others turned to one another, whispering in shock. She was buried alive, Ryan said, and when one human held her hand, she came back. The elder spoke again. Where is this patient now? Ryan looked toward the entrance. She's coming. The chamber doors opened. At first, no one moved. Then a soft sound, metal wheels rolling forward. Two guards stepped aside as a hoverchair entered. Guided gently by a medical assistant, Vela sat upright. Her eyes scanned the room, calm and focused. A brace supported her back. Her hands trembled slightly as they rested on the chair's arms. Behind her walked Nira. The crowd stared. Some leaned forward, others didn't breathe. Vela stopped in the center of the hall. The assistant handed her a small voice pad. Her fingers hovered over it. Then, slowly, she began to type. The voice came through soft, electronic, but firm. I remember everything. A silence spread. Vela continued. I found what they hid. I tried to speak. They made me silent. Not because I was broken, but because I was dangerous to their lives. She paused, then looked straight at the leader of her own species. You didn't just forget me, you erased me. Murmurs filled the air. One of the alien leaders stood up. This is a political attack. Earth manipulated her. Vela blinked once. The human did not give me words. He gave me a chance to use my own. Ryan felt his chest tighten. The same girl who once lay paralyzed and silent was now standing before galaxies and telling her truth. Vela typed again. I was paralyzed, but I was never gone. And I was never alone, not after he came. The chamber fell into silence again. The elder tapped his staff. The council accepts the testimony of Vela of the Yari. Her rights are restored. All charges against Earth are dismissed. Her species will face inquiry. Several of the alien delegates stood and bowed, not in apology, but in respect. Later, in the quiet of the station's garden dome, Ryan sat on a bench beneath glowing crystal trees. Vela rolled her chair beside him. Her hands still trembled. But she smiled. You really came back, she said through the voice pad. Ryan smiled. I told you I would. You kept holding my hand, even when no one else did. He reached out gently, and she placed her hand in his weak, soft, but warm. I wasn't the hero, he said. You were. Vela blinked slowly. No, we both were. And above them, the stars watched in silence, not because they had forgotten her, but because now they remembered.